presentation today is about strengthening your wedding brand through digital mastery. I'm at the Abu Dhabi Wedding Show for the second time. Thank you so much for having me. Assalamu alaikum. It is important for all of us to understand what is available to the wedding market globally. What it means to actually talk about your businesses online. Now, the most important thing, and I've had quite a few of you ask me the question, how do we get featured on Wedded Wonderland and how do we list our business on your platform? We have a series of opportunities in doing that. But when we drive traffic to you, to your business, people need to be able to find the information they're looking for. And so many venues and so many planners and platforms don't actually write the words that need to be on their websites in order to be found and in order to connect with the right customer. I'm going to show you how your social media needs to be set up and the fact that being featured on publications with a backlink will drive people to your websites and to your social channels. And that being strategic in digital marketing will empower your business, because when you're planning a destination wedding, you are not looking for somebody who is local, you are looking for somebody who is on the other side of the world trying to find you. And the way Google works is that it first and foremost showcases the businesses that are within your region. So I'm a bride and I'm from France and I want to have a wedding in Abu Dhabi. And I search wedding venue. The wedding venues in France are going to pop up first. I search wedding venue Abu Dhabi, and I hope that the wedding venues in Abu Dhabi have the right keywords on their sites to be able to appear first. I guarantee you, if you search that right now, media platforms will appear before the venues. And this is wonderful because people can read about your venues and your work on our platforms, but also we need to make sure that they're finding you. So to reach a wider audience and attract more clients online, we need to be set up correctly. We need to understand who we're targeting. So if we are a venue who wants to be able to target the French bride, we perhaps need to have some content in French. We perhaps need to have our websites translated in different languages and perhaps have our packages and our information that is spoken at in a global context. Because again, we need to be able to relate to the customer we're looking for. If we want Indian weddings, we need to be talking about the henna night. We need to be talking about the mandap, the ceremony space, the different opportunities, perhaps buyouts that are available. Is this content available on your websites and on your social media? So many people showcase their work. Amazing work, we just did this wedding, so fabulous, but they don't talk us through the process of how the couple found them, firstly, and secondly, why that wedding took place in that particular region, that particular location with that particular vendor. You need to know who is currently following you and visiting you to make decisions. Who knows how to read their insights through Meta Business? Got a few hands up. We need to see a lot more. Who is actually following you? Because if you're sitting there trying to figure out why you're not getting the Indian wedding market and you don't have any people in India following you, it's because you're not sharing any content that is relevant to that audience. So we need to be very strategic in creating and curating content to the target audiences we are actually after. You all know who the ideal couple is. Where do they come from? What languages do they speak? And what are they interested in? Is it the food? Is it the decor? Is it the entertainment? Where does your business sit alongside all of that? What is it that you offer that people are looking for? If you are a designer and you design weddings, what do you want to be known for? This is what you need to be talking about on your site and your social, so people understand that this is why I want to be able to engage this particular business. Every single thing that you share online needs to be targeted towards a global market. Your niches need to be defined. I only want to do Indian weddings, fabulous. If that's what you want to do and that's your niche, own it and talk about every single thing relating to Indian weddings. But if you want to diversify what it is that you do and you want to be able to get that couple in New York to come over to Mumbai and have a wedding, they need to be able to know that you can service them. So we need to be thinking cross-culturally and we need to be thinking outside of our local geography when it comes to the content that we're sharing and the way that we talk about our businesses. And this is how you extend your global reach. Building trust and connection with your audience. At Wedded Wonderland, we take an omni-channel approach to the content that we share. Any business that is listed on our Google platform or works with us on Wedded Week, you can find them on every single platform we work on. The reason being is if somebody jumps on TikTok and they want to be able to consume content that way, we need to be talking about our service providers on TikTok versus Instagram versus our website, long form content on the site, written content versus short form video content that exists on social media. In terms of setting up your profile, right? We have our Instagram accounts. Our profile and our bio, most importantly, needs to talk about not where we're based, but who we service. I'm a planner based in Abu Dhabi, and I service the luxury and cultural markets from India and Africa, perhaps. That way, as soon as somebody lands on that bio, they know that you are based here and that you service this. If you just write, I'm an Abu Dhabi wedding planner and I do luxury weddings, if I'm a bride who is of a different culture who wants to have their wedding here, I'm not going to know unless I dig back through the wedding that you did 2 years ago to understand that you can do this and you can do that, right? So have your bio specify what you do, and your bio is searchable. So from an SEO standpoint now, Instagram is searchable, which is why when you search something through Meta, the immediate businesses pop up. If you're looking for a wedding dress, those businesses pop up. Why? Because they have that information in their bio. So somebody's looking for a luxury wedding planner in Abu Dhabi or in India or in New York or wherever it is, you will appear. The highlights on your Instagram account need to be like the filter on your website. So when you go on your website and there's a about us, what we do, information in relation to our packages, we plan these types of weddings and these types of events, the highlights need to reflect that, not the wedding of George and Melissa, because nobody knows who George and Melissa are. But if you write Nigerian wedding in Abu Dhabi, then people will go, I want to see what that wedding looks like, because you're referring to the type of wedding, and that will attract and relate to other customers and other couples who are looking at your page. So the highlights need to be directing people about who you are and what you do. Media, press, weddings, private events, birthdays, celebrations, destination weddings, and then you can break that down even further into the types of products and services that you deliver within these markets. Now, the type of content that you're sharing through your Instagram feed serves very different purposes. If we're creating a reel is the most dynamic type of content that we can create. It is a video piece of content. The intention behind a reel is to reach as many people as possible. The intention behind a carousel, which is the gallery that we see, and now we can share up to 20 images, which is fantastic, is to storytell the journey of that wedding, how it started and all the way through to how it ended. And now we have the option of curating that gallery. And I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you curate your feed like you do your mood boards for your couples? How many of you actually consider what your own work looks like online? Because that is the mood board that your couples are seeing. And we don't consider it that way. We just post because I need to put something up. I haven't posted in a couple of days. Wendy told me that I need to be posting at least 3 times a week, right? So we're posting, but we're not curating. And it is your gallery. Your Instagram feed is your gallery. And your stories are your conversation starters. Again, if you're sharing stories and you're not asking questions and you're not posting, how do you know who is actually following you? When was the last time that you shared a story with a question box? Who's getting married here? Where are you from? How can I help you? We're so busy talking about ourselves as opposed to speaking to the 5, 10, 50,000 people that follow us. And for those who have small followings, think about it right now. I'm standing in a room in front of a couple of 100 people. Every single person here, I hope, is paying attention. So every day you are getting up and you're presenting in front of your audience, which are your followers. And what are you saying and what are you doing? And how are you finding out about them? And they're not going to come to you and ask you questions if you don't open that door. So we need to be very strategic in using our stories to actually capture information about who's following us. What do you want to see more of? I'm going to share a destination wedding with you that I recently worked on. What do you want to know? Become an expert in your domain. Talk about what it is that you do and how that concept came about. The ideation. Right now in content, storytelling is far more important than the actual destination. People want to know how things came about. So I'm here in Abu Dhabi and I'm at the wedding show. Why am I here? What am I doing? Who am I connecting with? What kind of business do I want to drive? What are my ambitions for working in the destination market? What do I want to do for my fellow kinmen in Nigeria? How am I going to drive business? Or are we just going to stand here and take nice photos of ourselves and say, yes, we were in Abu Dhabi? The storytelling is what matters because it gives context to the content. And if we don't give context to the content, we're all sharing pretty pictures and pretty much doing the exact same thing. We all have different intent, we all have different purposes, and we need to be sharing content with intent and with context. Because diversifying your content and sharing it on a global platform means that you are global. And it means that you need to be creating those opportunities for yourself. So we have the opportunity of sharing content on these different platforms in different ways, but at the end of the day, if we don't know what we're doing and what we're talking about, it's not going to make sense. So what is our strategy? What are we doing? You have a strategy for a wedding, you have a plan, you have a run sheet, you have CAD drawings, you have meetings, you have all of these things. What is your digital strategy? Who are we targeting? Who do we want to work with? In 12 months' time, where do I want my business to be? If we don't start strategizing that in our content, we are not going to get the clients we want because we're just continuing to doing what we always did and hoping for a different result. And as we know, Albert Einstein, my dear friend, that's the definition of madness. We need to change the game. We need to be sharing with intent and we need to be doing things to strategically say, I want to have 3 weddings in Abu Dhabi next year and this is what I'm going to do about it. And the content that I'm going to share is going to come from a place of expertise. I'm going to interview people here. When I visit the venues tomorrow, when we go on the female, I'm going to learn everything and share the fact that now I can be the point of contact for weddings in this market. That's what we want. Now, when we start sharing content, we need to be very mindful because only 20% of what you do on social media is in relation to content. Social media. Media is 20%. Social is 80% of the time that you should be spending is socializing online. Just like you're socializing in this room, who am I following? Who am I engaging with? Who am I connecting with? Am I responding to my community? Am I engaging with my messages? Do I have the right autoresponders set up? We need to be engaging because our actual algorithm will not allow your content to reach anyone if you are not responding to people. I don't care how popular you are. You need to be engaging. Influencer marketing. Who are the influencers in our market? Who are the influencers? They are the planners, they are the designers, they are photographers. These are the influencers. Influencers who are getting married, of course, are very influential. We have them for a very small window of time. But those who are actually setting the trends are the designers and the photographers and the content creators. So every single person, again, if you are creating content, you need to treat your social media as if you are an influencer. If you were to hire an influencer tomorrow, what would be the brief? I want you to create this content. I want you to talk about me in this way. I want you to be able to tell stories about the kinds of weddings and events that I've done. Brief yourself, because that is what's going to set you apart and create a face for your brand. And I don't mean that you need to get on the phone tomorrow and start filming yourself, because some people are not so comfortable with that. Start with voiceovers. Start with Q&As on your stories. Get people to ask you questions. Get comfortable with talking, or get somebody within your team as a spokesperson for the business. And you might come on once a month and say, hey, I'm the founder, this is what I do. And maybe just show your face once a month, storytelling on a face-to-camera way. And everything else, when you're writing and when you're speaking, people know that it's you. But we need to remind people who we are as business owners and why we run what we run and why we are so passionate. So identify those who are leading the way from a content creation perspective, the influencers you want to be engaging with. Think about platforms that you can collaborate with to create and curate content, and set some goals. This This is how many engagements I want. This is how many inquiries I want. This is how many followers I want. This is something that I want, right? Or do we just share content and then just go, oh, well, that did well? Why don't we actually set targets for ourselves so we can strategize around those targets and the number of inquiries and what the business needs to look like to drive what we do? I spoke about showcasing Abu Dhabi as a destination wedding hub, and I think it's so important, again, that you consider what collaborations can look like, even if you're on the other side of the world. Because something as simple as what we call audience hacking, which is you share content for me and I share content for you, and doing that strategically can introduce you to new target audiences. So you need to be looking at the person next to you and figuring out how you can collaborate with them. These are the platforms that we've built as a result of the demand that's come from the wedding market. The venue platform to find any destination wedding platform in the world. Wedded Web, which is an online wedding showcase to be able to connect with businesses around the world. We've realized that there is a massive gap in servicing the luxury cultural destination wedding market. And what we want to do is ensure that you are set up for success. Because we can do it all on our end, but if you are not coming to the party and your websites and your social media and your content isn't reflective of what people are interested in today, you are going to lose that customer. And the customer service side of things is so important. That is community management. Would you ignore an email if it came through or a text? So why do we ignore our Instagram messages? And why do we ignore the comments that are on our feed? That's a person engaging with you. We need to take that more seriously because it's the quickest and easiest way to engage with customers today. My time is up. Thank you very much. Abu Dhabi.